Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. Yo, what's up and what's gravy? Yo, holla at me, people. What's up and what's poppin'? As you guys can see in live HD, it's your host with the most, Custom Cantu, back at you guys with a brand new thrift customization video. So in my last trip to the thrift, you guys saw me sifting and digging, and I actually picked up a $15 Wrangler, real comfortable jeans, Brett Favre, jacket for 15 bucks in the thrift. And today I am going to transform it, inspired by the late great Japanese artist Takashi Murakami. Now this dude has done art for Kanye West. He's known in the hip hop like little streetwear community for his little like flower designs, and basically is like a really dope modern artist. And I figured, why not turn this thrifted $15 jacket into a one-of-a-kind Takashi Murakami custom piece? So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop, skip, and jump into another thrift transformation. Let's go, GI bro. Alright class, so the first step in this little tutorial is to print out a little Takashi Murakami flower, which is what I am doing. You also could draw your own if you feel inclined to do so and don't have a printer. But once I had the flower on deck, I actually did attach it on this little hard piece of cardstock and cut that boy out. And once it was cut out, I just had to lay in a little bit of that little postal bullshit that be infiltrating my box into the back of the jacket, just to create a nice firm surface and to make sure that the paint and or marker does not bleed through the jacket. And then once it was attached all nice and sexily, I grabbed the flower, I arranged it right where I wanted it to go, and then it was time to trace that little hoe. So the little drawing utensil I used to trace this biatch was this dark little like 4B pencil. So I just had my hand steady. Of course you don't want to move the stencil you're using, and I just aligned the outside of it. Now I also did cut out a petal just to make sure that all the lines were straight, were perfect, and that this was as symmetrical as humanly possible. So once all the petals were done, I whipped out the Angelus flat black acrylic paint. It is linked down below. It's very durable on clothes, made for leather shoes, but of course if you're painting on any denim jacket, then having some durable paint is essential, especially if you're gonna wash your garments and sweat up in them. So all I'm doing right now is just using a fine little paintbrush to actually outline all the lines I did draw on. And the reason why I did this first was that way when I start painting over the surface, I have these black outlines just to make sure that all the paint is staying within the right areas, and so I can re-outline it once I am done with that process. So once the outline was pretty much complete on the petals, I just went around the little circle, made sure it was nice and symmetrical. So then the next step I did was whip out the flat white Angelus acrylic leather paint, and I just started filling in all the areas that I did trace around. Now the reason I'm laying down the white first is that way all the colors that I will add next will just pop off that denim framature. So right here I'm just adding one coat inside all the petals, and then I actually did go on and add about 2 coats just to make sure that white was nice and thickly layered and vibrant on the denim. So once all the paint was laid down, I just whipped out the pencil again and I just drew out the little face by hand. Now you guys can trace this if you feel inclined to do so. I want to make any like perfect design, but I did have some faith in my hand and in my skill just to go ahead and draw a little smiley face and the eyeballs. So once the eyeballs were done, it was time to lay down the color. So the first color I used was that yellow, so I just added yellow in the little petal. I added about 2 coats of paint per area, and then I also used the yellow all up inside the little smiley face interior of this flower. Of course, if a bee is going to pollinate it, you want to make sure that the yellow is as vibrant and as good looking as humanly possible. You dig what I'm saying? So once I had the yellow done on the inside, then I just started adding the orange, and pretty much this was like a color wheel. So light orange, then a darker orange, and then it transitioned into like a little red. So basically it's just a gradient going all the way around the flower, and of course I had to add the red inside that mouth. Now Takashi Murakami actually does have a variety of different flowers and designs online, so if you guys don't feel like doing this like multicolored LGBTQ little promotional flower design, then you guys can do whatever design you feel inclined to do so. But once I started like adding the colors, it was pretty simple, and just with a little bit of color mixing, I had all the petals done lickety split in this bitch. So once all the colors were done, I just re-outlined around all the petals that I did, just to make this look as clean and crispy as humanly possible. You guys already know it's more crispy than a damn frisbee. This shit is fly as fuck. So at this point, I was pretty much done with the design. However, I had to add some nice little white dots inside the eyes just to get that detailing right and tight. And essentially, once all the white dots were done, I had the first aspect of this jacket, the front little portion, complete. And here it is, and just a nice little aerial flyby. I definitely do think this did enhance this basic Wrangler jacket to the max. And now it's time to flip this shit on the back and get her done. So the first thing I did on the back was get some flat black Angelus paint. I did draw out this crazy Takashi Murakami design, and I had to just outline the pencil design, of course, with the black paint. You guys already know I need the black to stick out from all the paint that I am going to be adding atop of it. So yeah, man, this design I actually went crazy on, and I was gonna add a flower on the back, but that was just a little bit too simple, so I had to go ahead and just actually add this panda bear on the back. And as you guys know, man, following any process, as I did with the front, I had to throw on the white cocaine crispy paint on the back as well, just for all the regions that would have some nice vibrant color. Now, I did do a little bit of experimentation in this case. I did add a lot of white in all the areas I needed to cover with paint, but in some areas I just went raw dog with the brown just to see how it would turn out. And actually adding about 3 to 4 coats of paint, it pretty much did the same thing as the white. However, if you're doing like a yellow or a green or a pink, having the white laid down first is definitely crucial. As you guys can tell, man, I'm just adding all the browns and all the dark areas first, just blocking in all those colors, and then I'm going to start going in and adding all the little vibrants, such as the pink that is in the teeth. And this design was really dope. It definitely isn't a style I typically would paint in. I like painting more realistically, or like American traditional tattoos, so trying to do like a Japanese kind of comic book animator style was definitely very different for your boy, but it definitely was cool, and I learned a lot about the artist process by trying to mimic his designs. And that's one thing for any of you guys who are trying to be creative, is if you find a great artist or an artist you look up to, just trying to mimic their designs will definitely help you along your path of artistic development. You'll figure out what they did to create something, you'll figure out what you like to do, and just how difficult it really is to create some of these designs. So right here I'm just adding the blue and the lime green. As you guys can tell, once I started adding on the bright colors, then the piece really started coming alive in this bitch. And it really is cool having this bright multicolored design, because I feel like it can go with a lot of things. So I was pretty much done with the bear at this point. Instead of using black paint, I actually outlined it in Sharpie. I had a lot more control over the Sharpie and could make the lines as crispy as I wanted. Now, as you guys can tell, the background just got fucking crazy. I added a bunch of like bamboo and skulls, and then I just started going ham and just really shading the skulls as I saw fit. So I added a bunch of yellows, greens, reds. I added the dark of the black eyes of the dead little, I guess, cartoon animated skull creatures. And then I just started outlining the whole thing once again to complete this entire process. And overall, man, the outline made everything look really crispy and really dope. So if you guys enjoyed this whole little procedure, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All the links to the materials I used are in the description, so it helps your boy out if you fuck with it. And here is the jacket complete in these streets. I definitely feel like the design looks sick on the back of this bitch. And without further ado, here's a little lookbook of what it looked like on body.
Show